Most people believe heart damage comes from obvious enemies: poor diet, smoking, a family history you can't escape. But over the last decade, researchers have been circling a quieter possibility: that some risks don't arrive suddenly. They arrive slowly, through habits that feel harmless, routine, even responsible. The kind of habits that live in bathroom cabinets, nightstands, kitchen drawers. These aren't banned substances, they aren't secret, and they're often recommended with good intentions. But evidence suggests that after age 60, the way the body responds to certain everyday medications begins to change, and the heart may quietly pay the price. Not always dramatically, not overnight, but gradually through pressure, fluid shifts, electrical instability, and vascular stress. Today isn't about panic. It's about understanding what the research actually shows, what's still debated, and why age changes the equation. And one of the medications on this list is taken specifically to protect the body, which makes the conversation even more complicated. Aging doesn't break the heart, but it does reduce its margin for error. After 60, several things happen at once. Blood vessels lose elasticity, the heart muscle stiffens slightly, kidney filtration slows, and the body becomes more sensitive to fluid and pressure changes. None of this means illness, it means less reserve. So when a medication alters blood pressure, fluid balance, mineral levels, or electrical signaling, changes that a younger body might shrug off, an older system may struggle to compensate. There's also the issue of stacking. Many adults over 60 take multiple prescriptions, plus supplements, plus occasional over-the-counter remedies. Each one alone may seem safe. Together, they can create effects no single pill was tested for. And that's where the first category enters the picture. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, are among the most widely used medications on the planet. Ibuprofen, naproxen, diclofenac, they work. That's why people trust them. But decades of data have shown something uncomfortable. Regular or high-dose use, especially later in life, is linked to increased cardiovascular strain. The FDA required heart-related warnings on these medications years ago, yet daily use remains common. Why the concern? NSAIDs interfere with enzymes involved in inflammation, but those same pathways also help regulate kidney function and blood vessel tone. The result can be fluid retention, rising blood pressure, reduced kidney efficiency. Picture the heart as a pump designed for a specific load. Add more fluid, narrow the pipes, increase resistance. A younger heart adapts. An aging heart may not. Research consistently shows that dose and duration matter. Occasional use is very different from daily use. Diclofenac and high-dose ibuprofen appear most strongly associated with cardiovascular risk, while naproxen may carry a lower, but not zero, risk. There's also an interaction many people don't realize exists. Certain NSAIDs can reduce the protective effect of low-dose aspirin when taken together. Pain relief, in other words, isn't just about comfort, it's about workload, and the heart doesn't get a vote. The heart and kidneys operate as a team. When kidneys retain sodium and water, blood volume increases. When blood volume increases, the heart must pump harder. Many medications, not just NSAIDs, subtly affect kidney filtration. The danger isn't immediate, it accumulates. Swollen ankles, unexpected fatigue, shortness of breath during normal activity. These symptoms are often dismissed as just getting older, but they can be early signals that the cardiovascular system is under strain, not from disease, but from imbalance. And one category of drugs complicates this even further. So proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs, are among the most prescribed drugs worldwide. Medications like omeprazole, pantoprazole, and lansoprazole were initially designed for short-term use, typically 4 to 8 weeks, to allow healing of acid-related conditions. But, many people end up taking them for years. By suppressing stomach acid, PPIs do reduce discomfort, but it's important to remember that stomach acid is also essential for absorbing key minerals, particularly magnesium, and magnesium plays a critical role in heart rhythm stability. Long-term PPI use has actually been associated with dangerously low magnesium levels in some individuals, which can increase the risk of irregular heart rhythms. There's also ongoing debate about broader cardiovascular effects. Some observational studies suggest a possible association between PPI use and heart attack risk. One proposed explanation involves nitric oxide, a molecule that helps blood vessels remain flexible. This remains a hypothesis, not a settled fact. PPIs can also interfere with certain antiplatelet medications used after cardiac events, potentially reducing their effectiveness. None of this means PPIs are inherently harmful. It just means long-term use deserves periodic reevaluation, especially when alternatives or dose reductions may be possible. If this information helps, consider subscribing. And hey, sharing this may help someone you care about. There's kind of an unspoken assumption that if a medication doesn't require a prescription, it must be gentle. But honestly, accessibility doesn't equal neutrality. Over-the-counter drugs bypass one important step: contextual medical review. And nowhere is this more evident than during cold and flu season. So let's talk about decongestants. Oral decongestants containing pseudoephedrine or phenylephrine work by constricting blood vessels. In the nose, this reduces swelling, which, can help you breathe easier. But throughout the body, it raises resistance. Blood pressure can spike, heart rate can increase, and rhythm can become irregular. For someone with hypertension or underlying heart disease, this can be dangerous. Even without diagnosed heart problems, older adults may be more sensitive to these effects. European regulators have recently revisited pseudoephedrine due to rare but serious vascular complications, highlighting just how system-wide its effects can be. The irony is that safer alternatives often exist: saline sprays, humidification, local nasal treatments. Relief doesn't need to come at a cardiovascular cost. The heart isn't just a muscle, it's actually an electrical organ. Every beat depends on precise signaling. With age, that system becomes more fragile, more susceptible to disruption from medications that alter nerve signaling, electrolyte balance, or autonomic control. And that brings us to a class of drugs many assume are no longer relevant. Tricyclic antidepressants, such as amitriptyline and imipramine, are no longer first-line treatments for depression in older adults. But they're still prescribed for chronic pain, sleep disorders, and nerve discomfort. These medications can increase resting heart rate, cause sudden drops in blood pressure upon standing, and interfere with electrical conduction in the heart. This combination increases the risk of dizziness, falls, and dangerous arrhythmias. Newer alternatives generally carry lower cardiac risk, but tricyclics remain in use due to effectiveness and familiarity. When they're prescribed, monitoring becomes essential. Mental health treatment matters, so does cardiac safety. The two should never be separated. Calcium supplements, they really sit at the center of one of the most debated discussions in preventive health. Calcium from food behaves differently than calcium from pills. Dietary calcium is absorbed slowly, while supplemental calcium can create sudden spikes in blood levels. Some researchers have even proposed that excess calcium from supplements may deposit in arterial walls, contributing to calcification and stiffness. Several large studies suggest there's a modest increase in heart attack risk, but others find no significant association. The evidence is mixed and, honestly, unresolved. For individuals with diagnosed osteoporosis, the benefits may outweigh the risks. But for casual supplementation without medical guidance, the picture is, less reassuring. The takeaway here isn't avoidance, it's precision. Across all these categories, the same themes keep appearing. Dose matters, duration matters, age matters, interactions matter. Safe isn't absolute, it's contextual. Most issues don't arise from a single pill, they emerge from long-term use without reassessment. The goal here isn't to stop medications abruptly, that can actually be dangerous. The real goal is partnership. So bring a full list: prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, supplements, to your medical appointments. Ask clear questions like, is this still necessary? Is the dose appropriate for my age? Should we monitor blood pressure, kidney function, or electrolytes? Are there safer alternatives? Awareness doesn't weaken treatment, it strengthens it. Medications have saved countless lives. They reduce suffering. They matter. But as the body changes, so must our approach. The heart doesn't announce when it's under strain. It adapts until it can't. Staying informed isn't fear. It's respect for a system that's carried you for decades. If something here surprised you, share it. Conversations change outcomes, and always, always involve your physician. Curiosity is one of the strongest forms of prevention we have. Take care.